Hey everyone, there are plenty of card types in Magic. From creatures to artifacts to enchantments to planeswalkers and more, but none of them seem to draw the love, passion, and obsessiveness that lands do. Basic lands especially. Since Alpha came out all those years ago, basic lands have been the backbone of Magic. Players chase down their favorite lands from their favorite sets, card art, specific sets, unique borders. Most players have a favorite land. It's almost part of our identity as a player. In this video, we're going to count down the top 10 most awesome basic land cycles you might not know about. Get ready to have your knowledge of basic lands expand in the best way ever. Hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, remember to hit that like button, helps out a lot. As far as honorable mentions go, we only have one, the Unhinged land cycle. The reason this isn't on the list is because I assume many players know about this land cycle by now. Of all the full art lands in Magic, these are the most full. By that I mean this is the cycle with the least obstruction from the card border. No tap symbol, not even a mana symbol to speak of. These John Avon lands are absolutely gorgeous and highly sought after. With copies of Plains around $7 a piece on the cheap end, and Islands around $11 each on the high end, Unhinged lands are quite popular, quite expensive, and totally awesome. Coming in at number 10, another full art land cycle, Unglued Basics. Less popular than their unhinged successors, the Unglued land cycle is part of the first ever joke set in Magic the Gathering, released in August of 1998. These basics were historic. It was the first time anyone had seen anything even resembling a full art land, and since then, there have been no lands printed with this specific card design. Many players choose to chase the unhinged lands, but unglued lands? If you're carrying those around, you get some old school street cred for sure. One nice thing about this cycle is that it is cheaper on average than Unhinged lands, so if you're looking to pimp out your mana base old school full art style, this is going to be the best bang for your buck. Number 9 is yet another full art land cycle, but this one is quite special. In 2014, Wizards of the Coast commissioned Therese Nielsen to create a panorama of all the basic lands for the Judge Promo Exemplar program. As you can see, the lands turned out spectacularly well, as expected from Therese Nielsen after all. Foil full art lands have always been popular, but these were on another level, demanding high costs the second they went out. Even now, a single island will cost you over $100 each. You can get non-blue basics for under $100, but at that point, the difficulty is finding the cards rather than the cost. There aren't many of these around, so if you're falling in love, good luck foiling out a deck. It won't just be cost that stops you. To explain number 8, we're going to have a bit of a history lesson. When Alpha first came out, the set accidentally left out Circle of Protection Black and Volcanic Island. Straight up weren't there. It's why if someone tells you they have an Alpha Volcanic Island, you smack them upside the head and call them a liar. It isn't possible. Anyways, when they fixed the issue in beta, they noticed that they were really close to having 300 cards in the set. So, for marketing purposes, they printed an additional cycle of basic lands in beta just so they could say the set had over 300 cards. Why am I telling you this? I don't know about you, but that's a fun factoid to me. Cards only existing to push the total card number of the set? Come on, that's funny. And that's why the additional land cycle from beta is number 8. Coming in at number 7, Arabian Nights Mountain. Just the mountain. Now you may be asking yourself, why is number 7 a single mountain? Where's the rest of the cycle? Well, funny story about that, there is no rest of the cycle. Here's what happened. Arabian Nights was originally designed as a standalone set with its own basic lands. Right before printing, they chose to make it an expansion set instead, so they didn't need basics anymore. They removed all the basic lands from the sheets except for this mountain. They forgot about it. So when Arabian Nights shipped out, it shipped out with mountains and no other basic lands. Better yet, the mountain was printed on a sheet that essentially made it an uncommon. Of course, land collectors went crazy over this, and now copies of the Arabian Nights Mountain are over $60 each for near mint copies and still climbing. This is also why the mountain is the most printed basic land of all basic lands in all of Magic. The more you know. Number 6, Guru Lands. The Guru program was a teaching/referral program that only lasted about a year and a half between 1999 and 2001. The program was designed to encourage players to teach Magic. So you would teach someone, get points, then redeem them for promos and booster packs. Well, the Guru Lands, as they were so affectionately named, were the promos you would receive for teaching a lot of new players. The system was obviously a bit more complicated, but you understand the concept. Anyways, these Therese Nielsen lands were beyond gorgeous and are still considered to be some of the best artwork ever done for lands in all of Magic. Showing 5 stages of a double eclipse, each basic land is gorgeous and clearly unique. Between the iconic artwork and the golden leaf emblem above the text box, when you look at a Guru land, you know what you're looking at. And just so you know, these are not cheap. As far as basic land cycles go, Guru lands are among the most expensive, with only a single island on TCG Player right now for over $500. You can get a mountain for around $180, and that's the cheapest, so yeah, we're talking big guns now. If you fancy yourself the Guru lands, don't plan on buying food this week. Entering our top 5, a series of promo lands called the Euro lands. These were promotional basic lands with artwork depicting scenes from around the continent. An island from Venice, a plains from the Scottish Highlands, a mountain from the Great Pyrenees. Each basic land had 3 different pieces of artwork commissioned. They came in 3 different packs, blue, red, and purple. They were given to distributors who bought boxes of Nemesis, Prophecy, and Invasion. Customers would get them by mailing in their barcodes to their distributor in their given country to receive one of these packs. Fun fact, this cycle would come back again in limited quantity in 2008 as buy-a-box promos. Wish I knew that at the time. Anyways, these individual lands are quite hard to find. If you do find them though, expect to pay between $5 and, well, much more than that depending on the artwork. For instance, the plains on the left is from the Netherlands and costs over $20. The one on the right, from Russia, and costs $5. If you want, you can still get the unopened Euroland packs. Those are cool, but will cost you around $40 per pack, so enjoy. Number 4 is pretty similar to number 5, except we're changing continents. Fun fact, the Euroland program wasn't the first of its kind. Years before that, when Tempest came out, Wizards of the Coast did the same thing in the Asia-Pacific region. Instead of red, blue, and purple, the APAC promos were shipped in red, blue, and clear packages. With absolutely gorgeous artwork, these lands are highly looked for and very difficult to find at a reasonable price. Just look at some of these. Plains from Japan, Mountain from Taiwan, legit the Great Wall of China. There's a ton of history in these cards, and I think it's pretty easy to see why they're so coveted. Much more difficult to find unopened than the Euroland packs. If you want the APAC lands, you're going to have to shell out at least $60 each for a pack. And they are only getting harder and harder to find. Man, these are cool. Alright, top 3. Things are going to get fun up in here. For number 3, we're going back in time to 1999 and the Arena League. The Arena League started in 1996 and ran until 2007. There were promos designed to bring more people into this pseudo-competitive, pseudo-casual league. Some of the first promos in the program, Urza Saga lands. Now, Urza Saga had some pretty sweet lands by some pretty talented artists. Many people consider Urza Saga lands to be their favorite, but that isn't what's special. What's special is that these lands were foil. Urza Saga didn't have foils in it, so getting a foil card from Urza Saga, pretty big deal, especially basic lands. This cycle was hugely popular on release and has stayed that way since. Another cool thing about this cycle, look at the shooting star in the bottom left. Do you see how the tail differs from other foil cards? It ends lower than normal. Anywho, if these basic lands excite you, you can get copies of them anywhere from $7 to $15, depending on the land you want, with, you guessed it, islands being the most expensive. Number 2 is pretty sweet actually. Now I'm going to show you the lands, you're going to get disappointed, then I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't be disappointed. Say hello to Summer Basics. I know, underwhelming, right? Let me give you some context. All the way back in 1994, Wizards of the Coast was printing revised, but there were problems. The colors were washed out, some of the pictures were placed incorrectly, just a bunch of crap went wrong. So they decided to fix it in the middle of the print run. The problem with that? The fixed print run was even worse. There were incorrect artists on cards, wrongly colored borders, way more problems than before, total nightmare. So Wizards freaked out, recalled the entire line, destroyed all of it. Well, most of it. It's estimated that around 40 booster boxes in total escaped destruction. Why am I telling you this? Because these 40 boxes would come to be known as Summer Magic. The mistake Wizards never wanted out there. These basic lands, these cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars each for a single copy. Think about it, only 40 booster boxes in existence with these exact lands. Can't tell the difference between this and a revised land though? I can help with that. The easiest way to tell the difference, look at the artist line. There's a 1994 copyright date. That does not exist anywhere else in Magic. If you see a card that's basically revised, but it has that 1994 copyright date on it, you're in business. That card is instant money. And while these may look just like normal revised basic lands, the fact that they come from a ridiculously limited mistake print run is huge for collectors. Getting even one Summer Magic card is difficult, no matter which one it is. Completely unplayable cards, still awesome. Basic lands, a bit better than unplayable, worthy of the number 2 slot for sure. We've looked at a lot of lands in this video, but number one is a cycle nearest and dearest to my heart, and I'm sure it'll help bridge the gap between new and old players alike. Some context. MPS promos, or Magic Premier Shop promos, were promotional cards printed in Japanese sent to premier Japanese shops between the years of 2006 and 2012. And while many of these cards were very cool, there was a single cycle given out in 2006 that I consider to be the greatest basic land cycle ever. The Ravnica Guild lands, that's right. Foil, promo, basic lands, depicting the names of the guilds, artwork of the guild, and the emblem of the guild. All guilds were represented on both colored lands, and the foiling pops out beautifully. Solely printed in Japanese, these guild lands are outrageously difficult to find and quite expensive considering they've been released relatively recently. The reason this cycle is number one, I don't think there's a land cycle that literally tells your opponent what you love as much as these. They have the words right on them. So when you're looking for a way to show your guild pride, or simply tell other players what you value, these are the lands you're going to want. The 2006 MPS Ravnica Guild promos, true works of art. And that's going to do it for our top 10 best land cycles in Magic you may not have heard of. So what did you think? Any of these cycles you didn't know about? Some new favorite lands here maybe? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Also, if you have a favorite land cycle not mentioned, please tell me. I love land cycles. Can't wait to be introduced to more awesome lands. Anywho, I truly hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. There are plenty of lands on the list that make me salivate, but thankfully some of them are affordable. If you want some beautiful 8-pack lands, we got your back right here. From as low as $6 each, these pieces of Asian Pacific history can be yours. There are still affordable swamps, forests, and believe it or not, islands. If those aren't your jam, how about Arena Promo Urza Saga lands? Plenty to choose from, all colors available for $10 or less each, except for the islands, of course. If you want either of these or any of the lands we talked about today, be sure to visit TCG Player. They got your back. Make sure to click the links and enjoy.